Child's Play was directed by Lars Klevberg and is known as a reboot and a remake to the 1988 horror cult classic that started off a big running franchise, which I love and appreciate to this day. I really love Child's Play. I think it's an amazing film. It's very great. It's fun, and it has some flaws, but to me, the flaws in the film just vaporize and stuff like that. Child's Play is a horror film that I can watch over and over and over again. Child's Play 2, I even find that to be a very fun sequel. 3 was okay. Bride of Chucky was a pretty fun movie, honestly. It's okay, I guess, that sometimes, I guess that's if you look at it like maybe as a guilty pleasure, but sometimes almost all the time I view this as a guilty pleasure. I think it's a very fun movie. Seed of Chucky, it's not that good. It's kind of mediocre, honestly. Curse of Chucky brought back the franchise to its horror routes. I thought that was very fun. Cult of Chucky was also very interesting too. So to me, Child's Play is a very successful horror franchise, so I was kind of scared of this reboot to be released. And considering Don Mancini and the other crew are working on a TV series that will be continuing off of his original franchise, and having a reboot just jump into the middle of everything might just ruin that. But thank God, I gotta say that this movie did not disappoint. This movie was fun from start to finish. Honestly, this is one of the best horror reboots / remakes I've seen since Evil Dead 2013. This movie really does find ways to be original and set up a new formula compared to the original Child's Play. And it really does work. I found that to be a giant breath of fresh air. And in this film, once again, you have Andy Barclay, you have Karen, you have Detective Mike Norris, who are all played by Gabriel Bateman, Aubrey Plaza, and Brian Tyree Henry, who all do a really fantastic job in this film. And I gotta talk about Gabriel Bateman in this movie first off before I talk about any of the other actors, because this kid was in one of the Conjuring movies. He was also in Lights Out. This guy has honestly had a pretty promising career, especially in the horror genre. And he really does work as Andy in this movie. You start to see that ever since he's moved into his new home with his mother, he's been alone most of the time. And then his mother gets him a present for his birthday. And I love the way that how they were able to set up Chucky in this film to not just be a copy and paste of the original film, to not just be a evil person who was possessed by, just be an evil doll that was possessed by a person. They made Chucky go in the AI route in this film, and I thought that was very clever. And it honestly makes more sense than having a doll that's being possessed. And it's more sinister, and I found this movie to be very creepy at times. Aubrey Plaza is really great in this film too, and she's mostly known for being in comedy films, but she does a really good job in this film, and the relationship between her and Gabriel Bateman in this film are absolutely great. They have really great chemistry in this film, and they're there to help each other out. And Brian Tyree Henry delivered a really good performance too in this film. One thing that this film definitely gets right is setting up creepy atmosphere. The atmosphere in this film is perfect. It is absolutely flawless. There wasn't really a hint of the scenery in this film that I thought lagged. The set design and everything absolutely looked immaculate. And the atmosphere and the tone was very creepy at times. And I love that this film is so self-aware of what it was, and even if it's cheesy at times, because honestly this film can be cheesy at times, but it's on purposely doing that. And that's what I love about this film. And all the Child's Play movies have a way of setting up an on purposely cheesy feeling towards the audience, and that is what makes the Child's Play franchise a unique horror series. And the fact that Chucky was an AI and he could connect to a lot of smart devices inside your home is a lot creepier. He can connect to the TV. He can connect to like a vacuum cleaner. He can turn on and off the lights. And that makes him a lot more sinister than just being a criminal, that's a serial killer that's inside of a doll. And I love how this remake went its own route and didn't do a copy and paste of the original film. Because that's what remakes should be. Now let's talk about the star in this film, the real star, Mark Hamill. Is he funny or is he terrifying? Mark Hamill as Chucky is very scary here. I didn't really see anyone else doing the voice of Chucky aside from Brad Dourif because he was so iconic as the role of Chucky. I wouldn't say Mark Hamill as Chucky is as iconic as Brad Dourif, but Mark Hamill is by no means bad. Mark Hamill is excellent in this film. He really does work in this film. He knocked it out of the park in this role, and he is excellent in the shadow of Brad Dourif, who is easily the best part of the original Child's Play series. And it's no surprise because Mark Hamill is an amazing voice actor, so he really did a great job in this film, and I'm pretty sure he had a blast voicing this iconic character. I also loved the relationship between the relationship between Andy and Chucky in the film. Their friendship is something that honestly got to me a little bit, and I almost felt bad for Chucky. I almost had sympathy for him because he just wanted a friend, and he felt like things were getting in the way. And the fact that he doesn't really understand the world that much, he's just an AI, and that makes him go crazy and malfunction and go on a killing spree. Let me just say, the deaths in this movie are very promising. The kills are very unique in this movie. They are gory, they are highly satisfying, especially if you're a Chucky fan. And the kills were honestly just satisfying to watch in this film, especially for a Chucky movie. And some of them were even unbelievable for a Chucky film. And it's in a good way. I'd have to say some of my issues that I had with this movie were Andy's friends, maybe. There were some times where I felt they got in the way of the plot. I liked them. The actors were very good as the kids, but there were just a few times where I felt like they were getting in the way of the plot. And it was mostly during the ending of the second act in this film. But the kids were honestly good in this movie. They weren't as great as the kids in something like Stranger Things or maybe even It. But they're still pretty good. Gabriel Bateman is honestly the best one in this movie, though. He's really good as Andy. And I can't wait to see Bateman in more films in the future. I'd have to say another flaw that I had with this film is that I felt like there were some elements in this film that were kind of rushed, especially the third act of this movie. The third act really felt rushed, and that's not good. I felt like there could have been more in the third act instead of what was already there, because it was almost like the filmmaker said, we have what we have, so we'll just give it to you, and then we're done for the day, I guess. Enjoy your evening. I didn't really like that. The third act wasn't bad. I'm not saying it was terrible. I just felt like it was rushed and more could have been added to the third act. And I think one more thing that kind of bothers me with this film, which is not really a flaw, I'd say it's sort of like a nitpick, is the look of Chucky. I don't necessarily approve of it that much. I don't really much like it, at least the most part. I mean, there are some times where Chucky looks okay, but there are other times where he looks a little weird. But this movie didn't fail to creep me out, because this movie did creep me out at times. So I'd say if this movie sort of gives you like the chills at least, or even if it entertains you, you'll probably get over Chucky's look. I mean, this movie really entertained me. I had a blast with this movie, and I guess that I wouldn't really consider that a flaw. It's just a little nitpick. But other than that, Child's Play is honestly one of the best reboots to any horror movie I've seen in a while. This is definitely not a masterpiece. It's not a classic like the original Child's Play, but this is a very fun movie, and I think it's something that every Chucky fan should see. In fact, every horror fan in general. And I'm gonna say, if you're a purist, like if you are a Chucky purist, there is a chance you might hate this movie. There really is a chance. If you're a Chucky purist, there's a chance you might hate this movie. But I didn't, at least, and I'm a Chucky purist. I just loved how different this movie was compared to the original Chucky film. That's how remakes should be, honestly. And this movie was entertaining, so I was satisfied with that. And I had a really good time with this film. I'm gonna give Child's Play a B+. Thank you guys so much for watching this review. Look forward to more reviews that'll be coming very soon. I'm going to be reviewing the Indiana Jones movies, and then after that I'm going to be reviewing the MCU's movies up until Spider-Man Far From Home. But anyway, thank you guys so much for watching this review. You guys are the best. Love every single one of you. Look forward to more reviews that'll be coming very soon. And as always, I am Mario Fan 528, and I will see you next time. Peace out.